Stop for a second and feel this. What if the person you think has moved on is lying awake tonight with your name heavy in their chest? What if the silence between you is not empty at all, but full of words they are too afraid to say? Listen closely, because this is not about a shallow crush or a passing thought. This is about the kind of connection that follows someone into the dark, into the quiet, into those late hours when no mask can stay in place. Somewhere tonight, while you are trying to stay busy, trying to act normal, trying to tell yourself that what you felt was nothing serious, someone younger than you is thinking about you again. Not for a moment, not as a joke, not out of boredom, in a deep and repeating way that keeps coming back no matter how hard they try to shake it off. They hear your voice in their mind. They remember your pauses, your tone, the way your energy changes when you are tired, the way your silence says more than other people's loud words ever could. And the strangest part is this: they never expected to feel this much for someone like you. Stay with me, because what comes next may explain more than you expected. The reason this hits them so hard is simple, even if it does not feel simple at all. This did not begin with surface attraction. It did not start because of looks alone, or because of easy chemistry, or because of a quick thrill that fades after a few days. It started because your presence felt real to them, and real is rare now. Most of what they knew before felt noisy, inconsistent, performative, or emotionally unsafe. People came close, then disappeared. People talked big, then gave little. People wanted attention, not depth. Then they met you, and something inside them became still. That stillness scared them because it was unfamiliar. It was not chaos. It was not a game. It was not confusion dressed up as excitement. It was a quiet sense that you could see deeper than most people do, and that kind of feeling can shake a person more than passion ever will. Especially someone younger, someone still learning their own heart, someone who has not yet found the words for emotional safety. They may not even understand why you stay in their mind this way. They only know that when they are around you, something opens, something softens, something honest starts breathing inside them. And once that happens, ordinary attention from other people begins to feel thin, weak, and easy to forget. That is why they may have acted strange with you, hot one day, distant the next. Looking at you too long, then pretending not to care. Pulling close, then stepping back so fast it left you confused. But distance does not always mean the feeling is gone. Sometimes distance means the feeling became too strong. Sometimes people go cold because they are overwhelmed, not because they are empty. A younger person can feel something real and still have no idea how to carry it. They can want you badly and still disappear. They can miss you deeply and still stay silent. They can feel jealous, protective, curious, and afraid all at once. That inner conflict becomes exhausting. It shows up in small things. They watch your social media but say nothing. They remember details you mentioned once and never repeated. They notice when your mood changes before anyone else does. They compare other people to you without admitting it even to themselves. And late at night, when the world gets quiet and the performance ends, they replay every look, every message, every moment that felt charged. This is where it gets intense, so do not click away. People are not haunted by what was easy. They are haunted by what woke up something unfinished inside them. You touched a part of them they were not ready to feel. Maybe it was your calmness. Maybe it was the sadness behind your eyes that you never fully explained. Maybe it was the strange mix of strength and softness you carry without trying to show it off. Maybe it was the way you did not chase, did not beg, did not force yourself into their life just to be noticed. That kind of restraint can become magnetic to someone used to emotional noise. Your quiet made them wonder. Your control made them curious. Your depth made them feel safe, but also exposed, and that combination is powerful. When a person spends years hiding from their own emotions, meeting someone who makes them feel seen without pressure can feel almost dangerous. Because now they have to face what they really feel. They cannot blame the crowd. They cannot blame timing forever. They cannot pretend every connection is shallow and temporary anymore. You change the standard for them without even trying. That is why this keeps returning in their mind. Not because you chased them into obsession, but because you reached places inside them that nobody else touched naturally. An accidental impact is often stronger than planned seduction. What happened with you slipped under their defenses. It did not knock on the door. It moved straight into the quiet rooms they thought no one would ever enter. At night, this becomes impossible for them to ignore. A song comes on and suddenly your energy is there. A phrase someone says sounds like something you once told them, and their chest tightens for no reason they can explain. They sit in a crowded room and still feel emotionally alone because nobody around them carries what you carried. They talk to someone attractive and still measure that moment against the feeling they had with you, and it does not match. They try distraction, work, conversation, flirting, entertainment, temporary closeness, but the mind always circles back to what felt meaningful. That is the part people do not talk about enough. Attraction can excite the body for a little while, but emotional recognition reaches much deeper. It lingers. It marks the memory. It changes taste. Once someone feels deeply understood by a person who carries weight, patience, and emotional truth, the usual shallow connections start to feel incomplete. And this younger person knows that now, even if they cannot say it out loud. They may even hate how much they think about you. They may feel embarrassed by it. They may tell themselves to move on, to stop being dramatic, to forget it and be practical. But night is honest. Night strips away excuses. And when everything becomes still, they are left with one truth they keep avoiding. No one has made them feel the way you did. They may never confess this directly, and that is part of what makes the whole thing feel heavier. Younger hearts often fear vulnerability more than loneliness. They fear looking weak. They fear being rejected. They fear losing control once the truth leaves their mouth. So instead of saying what they feel, they hide in strange patterns. They type messages and delete them. They imagine reaching out and then talk themselves out of it. They disappear for days, then return in a small, indirect way, hoping you will somehow understand what they cannot explain. They stare too long at your pictures. They reread old conversations. They remember things you forgot you ever said. They imagine what it would feel like if they finally stopped running and told you the truth. But then fear steps in again. Fear says wait. Fear says hide. Fear says maybe later, and silence grows. But silence does not kill attachment, it feeds it. When emotions do not get expressed, they do not always fade. Sometimes they become stronger because the mind keeps trying to finish what the heart started. That is why unresolved tension grows loudest at night. There are no distractions left, no role to play. No easy escape, just memory, longing, and the question they cannot answer for themselves. Do you feel it too? Keep listening, because this next part matters more than most people realize. Sometimes you sensed this without proof. Sometimes you felt them in your thoughts for no clear reason. Sometimes their name appeared in your mind out of nowhere and you brushed it off, even though something in your chest told you not to. That feeling is not always fantasy. People can sense emotional weight before logic catches up. When a connection carries unspoken feeling for a long time, it creates a kind of pressure beneath the surface. You may notice it in the way they look at you, then look away too fast. In the way their mood shifts around you. In the way they go quiet after moments that felt too real. In the way their actions seem to fight their own feelings. And yes, that contradiction can make you question yourself. It can make you wonder if you imagined the whole thing. But emotionally immature people often retreat the moment something becomes real, not because it means nothing, but because it suddenly means too much. Real attachment shakes the ego. It forces a person to face old wounds, fear of abandonment, fear of not being enough, fear of being seen completely. It brings hidden needs to the surface. It exposes the soft places they spent years trying to protect. That is why a deep bond can create confusion before it creates clarity. And every night, this younger person is somewhere inside that battle, torn between wanting freedom from the feeling and wanting the feeling to finally be returned. There is another layer to this, and it may be the deepest one of all. They are not only drawn to your face, your style, or your voice. They are drawn to what you carry. They feel the quiet history inside you. They sense that life has shaped you, that pain has touched you but did not make you cruel. That disappointment has visited you, but you still know how to be warm. That loneliness may have followed you, but it did not empty your soul. This affects them more than you know. A younger person can be deeply moved by someone who has suffered and still stayed gentle. There is something sacred about kindness that survived pain. Something unforgettable about a person who has every reason to shut down, yet still knows how to make others feel safe. Maybe they notice the exhaustion behind your strength. Maybe they see the loneliness you never speak about. Maybe they feel how much you hold inside while showing the world a calm face. Instead of pushing them away, that truth pulls them closer. Not because they want to fix you, but because they recognize something human and rare in you. They see a depth that the world often misses. And once that kind of recognition happens, the bond no longer feels casual. It becomes personal. It becomes symbolic. It becomes the kind of thing that follows them into silence and stays there. This is why their actions may keep contradicting their feelings. One part of them wants to come closer. Another part wants to run. One part wants to say everything. Another part wants to protect itself and stay hidden. They might give mixed signals without meaning to. They might act unaffected while privately feeling everything. They might tell themselves you are too much, too deep, too important, too risky. But what they really mean is this: you matter enough to scare them. And that scares them because real feeling removes the illusion of control. It asks for courage. It asks for honesty. It asks a person to risk being changed. Many people would rather stay in confusion than step into that kind of truth. But here is what they cannot escape. Once someone becomes emotionally meaningful, forgetting them is no longer a simple choice. Your energy interrupts their normal patterns. It stays in small daily moments. In the drive home, in the late song, in the empty room, in the pause before sleep, in the sudden memory that arrives with no warning. And because this connection touched them below language, they may not even have the right explanation for why it feels so strong. They only know that it does. They only know that you became a mirror, a comfort, a mystery, a longing, and a standard all at once. And that combination is not easy to replace. If this feels personal, there may be a reason. Maybe you know what it means to be admired on the surface, but not fully understood underneath. Maybe people have noticed your appearance, your confidence, your strength, but missed the emotional world you carry in silence. Maybe you learned to be self-contained because life taught you that needing too much from others can end badly. Maybe your independence was not a choice at first, but a skill built from disappointment. That kind of loneliness changes a person. It teaches you how to stay composed while hurting. It teaches you how to keep moving while carrying storms no one else can see. It teaches you how to become your own safe place. And strangely, that can make you unforgettable to someone younger who is still searching for solid ground. They feel your steadiness. They feel your depth. They feel the maturity in your silence. Even if you never explained yourself, they can sense that your heart has lived through things, and that emotional gravity pulls them in. This is not just fascination. It is a quiet awakening inside them. You make them realize that intimacy is not always loud, that desire is not always wild, that the deepest pull can feel calm, aching, and almost spiritual at the same time. If you're still here, stay with me, because the next truth may be the one you needed most. Even if they think about you every night, even if their feelings are real, there is something you must never do. Do not lose yourself trying to force clarity out of someone who is still hiding from their own heart. Do not shrink your value chasing proof from a confused person. Do not trade your peace for mixed signals. Their feelings may be deep, but depth alone is not enough. Emotional truth also needs action. It needs courage. It needs a moment when fear stops leading and honesty finally speaks. Until that happens, your job is not to rescue them from themselves. Your job is to stay aligned with your own worth. Real connection should move toward openness over time, not endless guessing. It should move toward truth, not permanent hiding. It may take time, yes. Some people need time to grow into what they feel. Some hearts wake up before they are ready to carry what they have found. But time should reveal, not only confuse. Time should deepen honesty, not keep you trapped in doubt forever. So protect your heart, trust what you feel, but do not build your life on potential alone. Let them do the work of facing themselves. Let them earn closeness with clarity. Let them show that what lives in their late-night thoughts can survive daylight too. And still, somewhere tonight, they are there again. caught in that private battle, wondering if your silence means caution or distance, wondering if you already know, wondering whether reaching out would change everything or ruin everything, wondering if fate placed you in their path for more than a passing lesson. They think about how your presence changed them without permission, how you made ordinary connections feel smaller, how your memory became both comfort and ache, how certain moments with you keep glowing in the dark long after the moment ended. They may not belong to you, they may not know what to do, they may not even have the language for the pull they feel, but the feeling remains. It returns when the lights go out and the room gets still. It returns when they are tired of pretending. It returns when they stop performing strength and finally face the truth in private. You became emotionally important in a world that often feels shallow, and people do not easily forget the ones who make them feel seen. That is the real reason you stay in their thoughts, not because you were perfect, not because you tried to control anything, but because some part of them felt understood, safe, challenged, and awakened in your presence. And that kind of impact leaves a mark that words cannot fully undo. So if these words are landing hard tonight, do not ignore that quiet recognition inside you. Some bonds do not arrive with easy labels. They do not come at the right time. They do not explain themselves neatly, but they still change people. They leave emotional fingerprints that stay long after the moment passes. They teach you that silence can be full, that distance can still hold feeling, that a person can be absent from your day and present in someone's mind every single night. Maybe one day this younger person will stop hiding and speak with the honesty they have been rehearsing in the dark. Maybe fear will finally lose to truth. Maybe the story will move from tension to clarity. Or maybe this connection came to reveal something important without ever becoming what you expected. Either way, do not underestimate the impact your presence carries. You may have awakened more in them than they have admitted to anyone. And tonight, while the world sleeps and the noise fades, they are still carrying you through another restless hour, still fighting what they feel, still returning to the memory of someone who made their inner world feel different. If this touched something you could not explain before, then you already understand. Some truths are not shouted, they are felt slowly, in silence, one realization at a time, until the heart finally admits what the mind kept trying to escape.